Hello and welcome back to CEO.CA's coverage live from Beaver Creek 2024. I'm excited today to be joined by Rick Trotman, President and CEO of Barksdale Resources. Rick, how you find the conference so far?
It's been great so far. Lots of activity, plenty of buzz. It's a pretty exciting conference this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe mood in the camp turning around with commodities, especially gold, doing so well. I want to get right into the elevator pitch for Barksdale. For people who aren't familiar with the story, could you give us a quick summary of the company?
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one to understand. It won't take too long at all. So basically, we have a key piece of property in Arizona. It's a very large district-style play. We actually control half of a district, with the other half being controlled by a major mining company, South 32, that's building a multi-billion-dollar mine a stone's throw away from where we're exploring. And so what we're looking to do is find the rest of this large base metal asset, this lead, zinc, silver, copper asset that has already proven itself to be a world-class asset on one side of the fence, and we have the rest of it to kind of explore and prove up.
Okay, fantastic. And how did you acquire this asset initially?
Oh yeah, interesting story. It probably require a beer or two, but look, a number of years ago, and this is prior to my time, so I say we, and then this the company, kind of came across a junior that had this land position and wasn't able to move it through the permitting process, and rather cumbersome permitting process. And so we struck a deal to earn into this project, and over time, we were able to secure this permit. It's on federal ground in the United States, requires a whole bunch of hoops that you have to jump through. That was a long chapter of our previous history. We exited that permitting process last year. And so, it was really kind of finding these opportunities that are a bit hidden away from a company that couldn't really kind of push to the next level. And so that's where the opportunity arose.
Okay, no, interesting. And you mentioned in that introduction that, you're kind of part of a district scale with South 32, advancing to production on their part of the district. What does that mean for Barksdale?
Oh, it's immensely important. One, it's a gigantic vote of confidence on the district itself, right?
Yeah.
This is a very large district with very meaningful deposits. There are multiple porphyry deposits in this district, and all of that kind of activity generated additional deposits, for the kind of technically inclined other skarns and manto type systems. And that's what South 32 has, this big manto system, this lead, zinc, silver, and now a new copper discovery that's sitting right next door. And so, having them, make the decision earlier this year to invest $2.1 billion, US money to build this asset, it shows us and our investors that they're making a multi-decade, kind of investment into not only the project, but the district, because, I think they see as much as we do, the prospectivity beyond the known, right? And obviously we're trying to find something, next door that would be, akin to what they have, hopefully a little bit more on the copper side, but, if I was in the middle of nowhere and, pick your Northern Territory or what have you, and 1,000 miles away from infrastructure, nothing been found, it'd be a much different dialogue than having that large company with their, kind of due diligence and all of the efforts that they put in, hundreds of millions of dollars, kind of de-risking this district for us. So that's immeasurable how important that is to us.
And is there any direct relationship between Barksdale and South 32 at the moment? Or
no, not at this point. To the best of my knowledge, they don't own any Barksdale. We have a cordial relationship. I'll speak frequently, about the comings and goings on the exploration front, plans, things of that nature. It's good to be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Hopefully our goal is to obviously find something of merit that, entices them and others to take a deeper look at Barksdale. That's the goal at the end of the day.
Well, let's talk about that, finding something of merit. You have selected drilling contractors and you have a drill program pending, as I understand. Walk us through the features of that campaign. What are you hoping to find? What's the size of the program?
Yeah, so the primary objective on this program is to find the extension of the deep skarn CRD targets.
Okay.
So we have some historic holes. We have some holes we drilled in the fall. They are all pointing us in kind of this new direction, so to speak, off to the south a bit. And the primary target for us is to get a couple of holes into those zones to really take a nice step out away from the non-mineralization and see if we can't really hit the guts of the system.
Yeah.
Right. And so the way the program's going to work this year is kind of different than last year, but we're bringing in a reverse circulation rig to effectively do a couple of pre-collars. So to cheaply and quickly kind of put a very large pilot hole that will case with the steel rods to provide the protection for the diamond rig to come in and finish the hole with a core tail. So hopefully that saves us a bunch of time, several weeks off of each hole, because last time some of these holes would take quite some time to finish. And then also, hopefully save us some costs as well, because RC, it's a much quicker process, and that quickness equates to a cost savings. And so the other element of our program beyond that primary target, since we're bringing in that RC rig, it's going to afford us an opportunity to do a couple of scout holes with that RC rig.
Okay.
To look at shallower targets that are in the immediate area. We have a target-rich environment, a big porphyry deposit, this CRD target that we're looking for, but there are epithermal vein targets. There are large geophysical anomalies that we have near or at surface that kind of are begging for drill holes. We have, chalcocite blankets. We have some areas where we could probably do some RC scout to work on lithology. Like, there are a number of different things that we can drill there with that RC rig to give us very cheap kind of tests and probes of the hopefully mineralization and help flesh out that model and provide some excitement to our shareholders and hopefully make a couple of discoveries.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it's an interesting program. Do you have a sense of the timelines there?
Yeah, so we'll be drilling in September. So we'll have two rigs. So the RC rig, the diamond rig. The RC rig will start first. Diamond rig will come in after that RC rig is done with the first pre-collar.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a bit of musical chairs, with the rigs dancing around. The RC rig will eventually kind of go away once that program is completed, and the diamond rig will stay. And so we have a fully funded program that's, a little over 3,500 meters. Okay. And that's what we intend to complete. If the results are such that, we, get a big tailwind and we can raise more money, then we might think about extending that and either continuing to flesh out whatever we hit or, moving on to different targets. We'll have to play that one by ear. But for right now, we'll focus on the fully funded portion of this program, which will, kind of take the better part of 3 months, effectively the rest of this year.
Okay, great. Yeah, I want to talk about the funding situation. You closed $6.3 million in financing.
Yep.
How much runway does that provide? I guess obviously covers the upcoming drill program. Yep. Does it take you into next year? How do you anticipate that leaving the treasury?
Yeah, so it doesn't take us much further than this drilling program as far as drilling is concerned.
Yeah.
Right? So we have the drilling program, and then we are on an earn-in deal. So we have to make a couple of staged payments to the partner that we're earning in on the project from. And so we have that cash allocated and kind of set aside. So we can make those payments here in the fall and invest our 51% interest and then start moving towards that next goal of 67.5%. So between those and, land payments and other things, we have enough to make the drilling program hopefully a success. And then, we'll have to see what the results look like to go beyond.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it sounds like there's some good next steps there. I do want to talk an interesting appointment. Dr. Quinton Hennig appointed to your board. Walk us through that process.
Yeah, so Quinton is an amazing geologist and is one of the most passionate people that I know about exploration, making discoveries, and he's smitten over Sunnyside. He's been following it for years. Him and the fellows over at Crescat, a very large mining investment fund here in the States, they've been long-term shareholders of Barksdale. So when they kicked off this latest round of financing, Quinton, when I was one of the folks that we talked to about, how do we kind of evolve, how do we push this thing forward? And, he has some great insights on the exploration front and the capital markets front. And so, we asked him to come on because those insights would be, great to have at the board level. So he's, not only helping at sport level, but, when we design this program and sort of putting things together, he's a great sounding board, going through the program and looking at the targets and thinking, all right, if we hit here with this drill hole on this target, what would the market reaction be if we had this versus that versus this, and getting that flavor, right? So it's a great thing to have him on the board, and he is going to help us immeasurably.
Yeah, certainly some great expertise to be bringing in there. I guess, just to wrap up, for retail investors who are looking at opportunities in the market, why should they be looking at Barksdale, and why is now in particular an important time?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, the time is now because we're embarking on this drilling program, and it will only be a certain amount of time before we have results from that program, right? And so, wait too long and you could miss it if things go the way I hope they go, right? And why Barksdale, just globally, the scale of what we're after is so large and so potentially important that it just makes a lot of sense. Like, there are a lot of companies out there exploring for things that, even if they meet their full potential, will be quite small.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking for something that just a couple hundred meters away is already the world's largest carbonate replacement deposit. Now, how much more can we find on our side? And it's already a world-class deposit. Can we make it a world-class district with what we can bring to the table? And I'm very excited to, get a couple of drill holes into this and hopefully prove it out.
Fantastic. Well, Rick, looking forward to seeing those drill holes when you publish them. And it sounds like it's an exciting time ahead for Barksdale. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.